All right, guys, I'm here with one of our all-star students, one of the best we've ever had. We're here with Oliver Borr from Borr Digital, and we're going to be talking about his experience in working with us and working through our program. So thanks for being on board here, Oliver.
Of course. Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. So let's dive into it. So, like, what was the problem that you were having before you started working with us?
Okay, so the problem that I was having was I knew where I needed to be. I didn't know how to get there. That was one of the first things. Obviously, there were standard problems that I was having, like how to fill a pipeline, but that was all stuff that I knew was going to be figured out once I sort of had a roadmap. Um, it was hard to identify because every time I spoke to somebody, or every time, and there was a lot of coaching programs that I spoke to, and I mean they all sounded very good, but they all sounded basically the same. And then I kind of spoke to you guys, and it wasn't just make this quick little switch and then you're going to be making 15 grand in a night and you're not going to have to lift a finger. That wasn't what it was. There was a framework that you guys had, and it very much was in line with where I wanted to be for my business and how I saw my company scaling to where I wanted it to be.
Where did you start at revenue-wise when you first started with us?
That's a good question. There's a couple of answers because I always said that I had zero clients, even though I didn't have zero clients. But the clients that I had were almost like paying the bills, like odd website jobs, a couple grand here and there. But there was nothing consistent. I had absolutely no retention plan because I didn't really have a product plan. And essentially, I was, for the most part, just reselling white labeled services, which is one of those things that I didn't want to be doing. Um, in terms of predictable recurring revenue, I mean, it was at absolute most a grand less than that, honestly. I would say zero, to be honest.
Right. What else did you try before you started working with us?
Um, what else did I try? So there was a lot of, I mean, it's kind of one of those things where you're putting all your eggs in one basket, right? So I can't obviously try a whole coaching program to its completion, but I mean, I was on the phone like all the time with all of these people who had this sequence, that this funnel, whatever it is, every single person. I spoke to them all. Um, and, and like I said, they were all good. They really were. Sorry, could you please repeat the question?
Yeah, like what did you try before you started working with us? What
Oh
other
yeah. So
programs or education?
right. So in terms of what education, I mean, I was signing up for tripwires, like courses that all of these coaching programs were offering. Just trying to just take as much information that I could. I was on YouTube for hours and hours and hours every single day, learning this stuff. Um, and it was a little bit disjointed. Some of them worked for little parts of it. There was nothing that there was nothing interestingly that I found that was like, you got to work really hard, but here's the system that if you follow this and you work really hard, you will succeed. And so everything that I tried, it just didn't fit with what I wanted. You know what I mean? I mean, to say, what did I try? I tried different white label providers. I tried creating different sequences or packages using different softwares. It was really disjointed. It's a hard question to answer. What did I try? Because the answer is I just tried so many different things.
Right. Okay. No, that makes sense. A lot of people go through that knowledge period where they're just consuming and sponging and just it's kind of like disconnected, like you mentioned, and it's hard to put those puzzle pieces together. So
Yeah.
really, what made you want to take a chance on working with us?
Okay. So the I was getting ads from you guys as if I was a real estate agent, because you guys have a real estate rainmaker.net. That's the URL, right? Yeah. So you guys were sending ads on my Facebook feed that was, here's a course on how to create a perfect Facebook ad. So I didn't know that you guys had an agency program. So I clicked on it. There was a course. I bought the course. It was fantastic. And I just kept on kind of going through the motions. And I didn't even want to tell you that I was an agency because I didn't want you to think we were a competition. So I just bought as much as I could, as many courses as I could from you. But you obviously thinking that I'm a real estate agent, the real estate agent courses that you guys are going to offer, it's going to only take me so far. But as an advertising agency, obviously I need more. So I booked a phone call with you basically just to say, like, what else could I get? And because like the sequences that you guys were showing and the ads that you guys were showing, like I said, it was what I had in mind and where I wanted to be, but I just didn't know how to do it. And what you had worked. So like I said, I just needed more. So I booked a call. It came up in conversation. I think, again, I was trying to hide it, but it had to come out eventually that I actually owned an agency. But please, I beg you, please help me anyway. And you're like, oh, what are you doing with the real estate course? Then you should be on our agency course. Um, And I mean, you guys were already qualified in my eyes, because everything that I had already taken from you guys, bought from you guys, and worked with you guys was working great, even though it wasn't catered to me as an advertising agency owner. And I was sort of repurposing it. And then when I found out that you have a whole course for agency owners, like that was it, I was done. And then you offered this 4-day real estate agency in a box. And I mean, straight out of the gate, Cody was like, assembly line marketing, right? And I was like, damn, like that's what I meant. That's what I want. And I couldn't quite put my finger on it. And he was talking about like the CRM and white labeling a CRM. And I was like, I was trying to find a white label CRM for so long. Every single thing that you guys were saying was just where I wanted it to be, just to build something that was repeatable, simple, powerful, but scalable. Like I needed to be out of the way right here. I needed to set up the systems, maybe go through it once or twice so that I know it works. Obviously, you don't want to be running a system that isn't going to get your clients amazing results. So I just needed to see that I could do it, number one, see that it was repeatable, see that I could document it, and see that it worked. And I mean, you guys just answered all of those questions.
That's awesome, man. Now, congratulations for putting in all the work. Cause I mean, that's really like we can only take people so far absent of your work ethic. You know what I mean? So like you've
Yeah,
been crushing it with Julie as well. So like,
appreciate it.
tell me the moment that you realized when this system was actually working for you.
I mean, not to sound like cliche, but it was before I'd even paid into the program, because you can't, like, I knew what I wanted. So when I got onto this 4-day course, this real estate agency in a box, and you're talking about assembly line, and you're talking about templates and sequences, and you're showing us them, and then you also have a plan for lead generation, something that I hadn't even gotten to thinking about yet, because I need to figure out this problem before I get to that problem. And you were answering the questions that I had before I had been able to articulate them, or before I even had them. And so at that point in time, it was like literally all these guys have to do is just be able to do what they're telling, be able to fulfill the system that they're selling, which at that point in time, like, it's not a really hard thing to, like, you have a system. So obviously that's the one that you use, and the one that you use is like, that's what I want. And then all it was afterwards, after I'd signed up, just to make sure that it works as well as you say it does. And it really does. I mean, it was like straight out of the bat, like straight out of the gate. It was like a weekend, and I started doing the perfect stranger method, which is just like a piece of the course. And like, I think I had like 10 appointments the next week. I mean, it's like a weekend. It was crazy. Yeah. And it was simple. It was doable. It was repeatable. It was something that I have a VA now who just does outreach all day. I mean, but like, we're closing clients sometimes like 3 to 5K, you know what I mean? Like 2 to 5K a month. And that includes ad spend, but on management fee, that's like, I don't know, between 1 to 3.5K a month management fee using the system. So, I mean, it takes work. Like, that was one thing that I really liked about you guys also is you get on the phone with a lot of other coaches. And I have nothing negative to say about any of these other coaches. They all put their best foot forward, and they all seemed like they knew exactly what they were doing. But there were like, it was like hacks a little bit, you know what I mean? Like, if you do this, then you'll see that. Like, maybe fine, but I want to build a business, you know what I mean? I'm not looking for, like, I don't know, a trend. I'm not like into like TikTok trends. I want to know, like, this works, it's repeatable, and I'm going to be able to do it for a very long time. And you guys came out of the gate, and it was basically, you're going to have to work hard, and we're not going to do this work for you, but here is the framework that you need to follow. And I was like, fantastic. You know, you weren't selling, it's not going to be any work. What you were selling is, you work hard now, and you set up the systems, and then you will be able to scale and step back. And that was like exactly what I wanted.
Yeah. So now how does it feel like in your company? Like we've only been working with each other for like under 60 days, right around that mark. So it
Yeah.
hasn't even been really all that long, but you've come a long way revenue wise. So you started off with pretty much 0 clients and maybe $1,000 a month. Like, where are you now? Just 60 days in.
Um, so there's a couple of deals that I'm hoping to finalize, but assuming all things happen the way that I anticipate that they will, I'll be sitting at about 15 grand a month.
50 or 15?
1.5.
15. Well, that's incredible. I mean, that's an incredible milestone to get to the 15K mark. So congratulations on that.
Yeah, I
Uh,
appreciate it. I mean, there is more sort of in a pipeline that I'm hoping to close. But in terms of where I can reasonably anticipate, but still remain conservative, it would be about 15K. But that would be 15K management as well, right? That's 15K that I'm walking home with, obviously, except for what I'm paying my VAs or ISAs. But it's it's where I knew that I could be when I found the right program or person to partner with. And I did. And like at that point, as soon as it happened, like there wasn't really a buffer time for me where it's like, is this going to work? Is it not? Like as soon as I signed up, it was like, okay, let's go. And now I know I mean, it is working out, but I knew as soon as I signed up, if this didn't work out, it's me,
No,
and it
definitely.
worked out. It worked out honestly as quick as I was expecting it to.
Nice. Now that you have like a system in place, a process to follow, a roadmap, like how does that feel like personally, and how do you feel like confidence level in the business?
Like honestly, I feel like a different person, to be honest. It's like in life as well. Like I'm kind of walking around knowing that I own a successful business, that I'm running a successful business with my mom also, who's shout out to my mom, Julia. I wouldn't be where I am without you also. But I mean, it just feels great. Like I walk around with like a spring in my step. I got like a swagger. I get on phone calls all the time, and I know exactly where I want the phone call to go. Like these sales calls, I know exactly how to answer everything that they're going to say. And I know that I can help them, right? Like that's at the end of the day, that was just as important. Me being able to grow a successful business. The only way that I'm going to do that is knowing that I can help them. So yes, I'm charging sometimes 5K a month for my clients, but like, have you seen the commission checks for real estate? Like they're insane. So I know I'm going to make my clients more money than they're giving me. And as long as I keep that in mind, and I know that I'll be able to, like I'm on these sales calls and I mean, I sleep great at night pushing them because I know that I'm like at the end of the day going to make them more money. And for me, that's really what it's about. So how do I feel about having the system that I can kind of fall back on and show them? I feel amazing. And not only that, but my clients, even before they're signed up with us, they feel amazing because they see a system and I show it from start to finish. And they're like, damn, that looks really efficient, powerful, predictable, repeatable. It's just great.
Like, what's been the best part about this journey so far that you've learned from us, whether it's like sales, the marketing material, the SOPs, if you could identify,
Yeah.
like what's been that like that's got you like super excited?
Okay, so there's a couple of answers really. I mean, I'm going to talk to all three of you. You have 3 weekly coaching calls. I'm going to talk to all three of them if that's okay.
Yeah.
So you have a call on Tuesday at 5 o'clock. That's my time, and that's a sales call. So in my mind, I heard like sales call, role play, whatever. I was the first time I heard about that, I was like, okay, great. I'm going to show everybody what it's like to be a real coach. Because in my head, I was like full of confidence, like I can close anything. I can sell ice to an Eskimo or an Inuit. But I got on a call and I kind of go through it with you and I show you, and then you came back with feedback, and I wasn't really expecting it, to be honest. And I'm a proud person, but I was like listening. I was like, you know what, it does make sense. And I implemented what you were saying. And I realized when you said that I wasn't a good closer or as a good conversationalist. And so my conversations and my sales calls were going great until it got to the point where it's like, okay, let's move forward. So I had great sales calls. Everybody loved me, but I didn't, for the first week, I didn't make any of those calls. And then I went to the call. I implemented one change. I promise you one change. I'm not even sure if I can am I allowed to say what the change was?
Share it.
Right. Just to be more aggressive at the end, where like at the end, it was like, okay, great. So happy we spoke, happy we could help you. Yeah, we'll be in touch. I hope let's book another call. And I booked that other call and just kind of went on and on and on. And then you're like, first off, say, is that something that you want to move? There was a couple other questions as well, but it was like, is that something that you want to move forward with? Or how would you like to pay today? And just be like a little bit more aggressive. And I was expecting them to be like, whoa. And I did that. And they were like, okay, yeah, no, that's fine. Okay, so let's do Visa. And I'm like, okay. And I didn't know how to handle it. And I promise you that week I had a 3K a month management fee client for a brokerage at the end of that week, a 2K a month, which would be about 1,000 management fee, and then another 3K a month, literally just from that one thing. From that one change in 1 week, I got those 3 clients. And that was the first thing for me that was humbling. And I did not expect this program to help me with sales. I just didn't think I needed it. And it turns out I really, really, really did. In terms of the Wednesday calls that we have like a bottleneck call. I mean, I really look forward to those calls. We just talk about what's stopping us. I mean, our bottlenecks, and whatever it is. You guys have been there, done that. You guys have been around the block. You've seen everything. So I haven't come up with a problem that you guys haven't been able to help with. So that's also been really helpful, but for obvious reasons. And then the Friday call with Cody, where he goes over our traffic and our campaigns. I remember this guy came in and he was saying, I'm paying a little bit more than I want to. And he showed Cody the ads and Cody's like, do this. And it was like enough. It was like, change that picture from this and to that. And like the cost per lead was, I think it went down from like 450 to like, I don't know, like 175 or something like that. Like you can't, it's hard. There's a lot of intangibles that you just can't know you're buying into until you're in there. And that's sort of what's hard, is that yes, you can sort of show us everything, and for me, I knew exactly what I needed, and I knew that you were aligned with me. So it was very easy for me to see, yeah, these guys are the guys I want to work with. However, interestingly, it's the things that I didn't know that I needed that turned out to be the most beneficial. I mean, it's really been amazing.
I appreciate that. So last question, like what advice would you give to another company that was in your shoes, say like 2, 3 months ago?
That's a great question. There's a couple of things. First off, don't confuse business with busyness. Just because you're busy doesn't mean you're focusing on your business, right? So focus on the development of the actual thing. And the second thing is even if you don't know how you're going to get there, have like your goal in mind, right? So like I read the one thing, it's a book by Gary Keller. So spread a really wide net about where you want to be, and say like in 50 years, that's what I want to do. So what do I need to do in 30 years to get there? And then in 10 years, and in 5 years, and 1 year, and 1 month, and basically bring it down to there. And it's like, what do I need to do at this exact moment? And I think that for me was what really gave me insight. So I did that, and I realized where I wanted to be, and I built it down, 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 down. And what I needed at that point in time was to create a system like an assembly line. And I basically built out exactly what I needed in that moment in time to get me from point A to point B and take me to another level. So that by the time I got on a call with you, there was nothing to think about. So that's probably what I would say is don't confuse business with busyness, number one. And number two is get really clear what you need to happen and where you want to be, because that's going to make it that you're not just like playing darts in the dark. You're going to know exactly what you're shooting for.
Awesome, man. I'm excited to be on this journey with you, and we're going to be together for a while longer. And I want to see this business get to 6 figures a month, and we'll help you get that roadmap all
I'm
along the way.
psyched. I know it's going to happen. You know what I mean? Like I'm so hungry, man. Like I want it so badly, and I'm willing to put in so much work, and I have already done. And I mean, the results, they're not unexpected. It wasn't like I was surprised that I am where I am, but it certainly surprised a lot of other people that it just happened so fast. And listen, I'm obvious. I love the fact that I'm taking people by surprise. I love the fact that people are like, wow, that's amazing. That's so fast. But yeah, like I'm going to keep on putting in the work. I know you guys are going to keep on providing the value, and we are going to get there together.
Definitely. I mean, dude, you had a fucking 6 figure a year run rate in 1 week by applying a couple tweaks from a sales, like a call breakdown. So,
Yeah,
I mean, you're definitely, I mean, there's so much more that we have to go, but everything is in chunks, the pieces, you've built the foundation in 60 days, which is
yeah,
impressive as hell. And now it's on to the next part of that foundation. So it's like, it's just an evolution. So you're young in the business. It's in its infancy, and
yeah.
you've just exploded so quickly. So
Can I
congratulations.
add one thing, Rahul, if that's okay?
Yeah.
There's another thing that I think is really important, is that for a long time I was working, and I was, like I said, playing darts in the dark for a long time before I ended up niching down in real estate, getting connected with you guys. And yes, it kind of blew up quickly now, but there was like a long journey beforehand. So one thing, just another piece of advice that I forgot to say is, um, like be patient. You know what I mean? Like if you're willing to put in the work, like even if you came on and like you weren't at like, I don't know, let's say you were making under 3 grand in the first month, like just be patient and do the right steps, and like things will come. And it's hard to see that when you're in the moment and you're not getting paid like you want to be. But like if you like, there's a reason that not everybody opens a business, but if you work hard and you stay patient, like I think that's also really important for me, is that, and that was a differentiation about you guys, like I said before, is that for you it's about working hard as opposed to just make this quick switch and then you're done. That might work for some people, but I'm not into get rich quick. I'm into like putting the work. It happens to be that it worked out quicker than most people could have ever anticipated. But even if it didn't, it wouldn't have made a difference to me, and I would still be working exactly as hard as I am now.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, thanks for taking time today, and congratulations on all your success and much more to come.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.